And welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with us. Soweto today. Looking at some of the phenomenal centers that we have in Soweto, they assist educational, it's really, really important. And I know that Media Works is also an initiative that's doing amazing things here in Soweto. I'm joined in studio by sales executive Tebogo Mogapi. But before I do, before he comes through and tells us about Media Works, I want you to take a look at an insert. Sipho Hostix Mabuse. Our team actually went out to have a chat with him. I would have loved to have him in studio. Unfortunately, we couldn't. He's a very busy man. But we went out to him and had a chat with him about really him achieving his grade 12 in the year 2012. I know that he actually signed up at Tabajabula Secondary School in Klipspruit, right here in Soweto, at the age of 60. That's when he obtained his matric. Have a look at this insert. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Sipho Mabuse, otherwise known as Hostix. The subject on which I'd really like to talk to people about is a subject of education. Obviously, I'm sure maybe many people do know that at the age of 60, I decided to go back and do my matric. Education is very important to any society. So one of the things that actually makes it difficult for a lot of people is to understand exactly why they would want to go back to school. And pursuant to many objectives, other people believe that when you got your matric, it obviously would get you a better job. Nothing could be further from the truth. However, having said that, matric probably opens up many avenues for whatever one wants to pursue in terms of career, in terms of, it also provides you a basis for power relations, because then in that position, you are able to interact, you're able to engage. And for me to go back to school was necessary. Now, we have to look at history, the South African history based on apartheid, what apartheid education did for a lot of people. I dropped out of school. I did not write my matric. And I do believe that many of the people at that time also who were going through a very difficult period under apartheid probably didn't finish matric. And people had to look after their families. People had to go to find jobs so that they can look after, what you call a black tax, looking after extended families and so on. So when I decided to go back to school, for me the reason was to empower myself. I went into school when I was 60. I decided, having traveled all over the world, and obviously I'm considered one of the most successful musicians in the country, and I've been privileged in a way that I've been able to make success of my career as a musician. However, there was always this thing about not having finished high school, because I'd always wanted to be an academic, and I made a decision one day, and I realized that my aunt, who was at that time 75, was a qualified teacher, but she had to go back to school to finish her school, and that encouraged me. A friend of mine's mother, who was a specialist doctor, was almost 80, decided to go back to school. So I realized that there is nothing that should stop me from going back. Obviously, they were going at another level. They were going at the university level, which is always easier. But at that age, to go back to school and decide you're going to write matric poses a challenge for a lot of people, because they think, well, I'm old, where do I begin? How do I get? I decided to go back to a school just down the road from where I live. One of the biggest challenges, obviously, is for adults making a decision about going back to school. there are many challenges, and if they have to be looking after families and so on, it is a challenge for most of them. But I think it's also very important, it's very critical for people to understand how important it is to go back to school and study. And what I'd love to say about to many of my peers, people of my age, is that it's never too late. It's never too late to go back to school, finish your matric, because that, if our children see us pursuing that line of thought and going through to establish ourselves within the education circles, they will also be encouraged to believe that, well, if my father can go back to school or my mother goes back to school, why shouldn't I go back to school? And to the young people, it is understandable that most of you feel that education does not provide you the jobs that you may be aspiring to. But it is very important to understand that education gives you a better chance. You stand a better chance of acquiring that job you're looking for than when you do not have an education. So I'd really love many of our young people to make a decision about, let's go back to school, let's rebuild our country, and through education we're able to rebuild the country. It's not even about material, because if we look at material, the big houses, the cars and so on, we're losing sight of exactly what it is that we should be doing for this country. Let's get an education. Once we've got an education, then we're able to articulate our fears, our hopes, and our strengths through education. To young people, I say, it is time. You've got the freedom, a foundation has been laid for you. Take advantage of the current situation. Go back to school. Abuse of drugs and so on. Don't feel helpless, because if you feel helpless, then you can only destroy the country, and the country will probably go back to where it had been many years back.
Wow, I am really, really touched. Very, very interesting. This shows go lwena mogi go khaegale gore motho motona o no iplela gore ka se khone go achieve dithuto tsa gago or your goals and your dreams. Anything is possible. All right, let's speak to Tebogo Mogapi and welcome him onto the show, sales executive at Media Works. Tebogo, very good evening. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Rafile. I'm super
2017 Happy New Year. How's it treating you?
It's treating me very well. Yeah. And hey, I've run out of a quota of compliments. I've been giving those out left, right, and center. You
guys do an amazing, job. I mean, Media Works. Briefly explain to us what Media Works does. You're a sales exec there, right?
That's correct.
What's your role there?
Okay. Just briefly, what MediaWorks is focusing on, like this inspirational story, Sipho Hostix.
Yes.
For the past 20 years, we've been helping adults that do not have other who are illiterate or semi-illiterate. So we've been helping them through our program, our ABET rather.
Yeah.
So giving them the foundation that they need to be functionally literate, or to then continue pursue their studies.
Yeah.
But then we established that a lot of companies would ask us that now these people have their ABET, what next? So as a company, we then had to come up with a way of assisting them to go further. Because some people would miss out on opportunities such as promotion simply because they did not have a matric. And that is why we said we rolled up our sleeves and came up with a program. And that baby was Matric Works.
All right. So Matric Works is a baby yaha Media Works.
That's correct.
What is Matric Works? That's a program that you assist elders to go to school with?
Okay. Now, Matric Works is an online program that we offer for someone to eventually achieve or obtain their matric. So it's a study platform where we do it online. So you can access it on your device, be it a tablet or a smartphone, or you can access it online.
Really? Hold on.
It's quite flexible.
You're telling me I can study on my cell phone?
Certainly.
So do I have to download an app to do that? How does it work?
All right. We have developed an app called ITAT. So that is our online campus where we have all our programs on. So when you go on ITAT, you will then find all your 6 subjects if maybe you haven't done matric, because if you haven't done matric, you need 6 subjects as an adult. So you'll be able to access those programs. So you can download all the material and then study at your own time. And the reason we did that, we were keeping with our model of flexibility, confidentiality, because that's what a lot of people experience
Yeah.
when they are going into their adult in their adult classes. They would feel, because it has a stigma around it, so people would feel ashamed that they are doing this program. So now when you are able to do it online, it's a one-on-one, you and your device, there is that level of confidentiality.
All right. So take me through the process quickly. How do I register? I'm sitting at home right now, I'm watching the show, I'm saying, oh my,
Yeah.
I'd love to be, part of Matric Works. I haven't, done my Matric in a while, and I'm ashamed to attend any ABET because I don't want to be laughed at. What's the process? So I get into my device, I go on the internet and do what?
All right. You go online on our Matric Works website.
Which is?
Matric Works. So the name of the website is Matric Works.
.co.za. Right.
.co.za, that's correct. And then you register. You'll select the subjects that you want. And then once you've completed your registration and process your payment, and then we'll send you your login details, which will send you straight to our ITAT, our online campus. Then you can get started with your program.
All right. How many subjects did you say one is able to do with you guys?
We have 13 subjects.
Oh, okay.
However, you need only 6 to complete your Matric.
All right.
Now remember, we're talking about adults here who haven't completed their Matric, because the program isn't only for adults. We've also started an initiative at Tlahlugang secondary school, where we're piloting a project with about 20 students so that we have extra aid to help matriculants so that they increase their chances of passing.
Nice.
So now it's not only for students as well.
Yeah.
A parent can buy this. As a parent, you can purchase the product if your child is in grade 10, and then you capacitate yourself so that by the time they get to grade 12, you are able to assist them with their schoolwork, because education is not only a government issue, but it's a national issue.
Sure. So I can do this at the comfort of my own home.
Definitely.
Have you partnered with the Department of Education with this, or are you just doing this alone?
There are talks. There are talks because this is a product that is going to help the nation. Therefore, it will be very selfish of us to keep it to ourselves when there are opportunities, which is why we went to the secondary school in Jabavu. So those are some of the initiatives we're looking into.
All right, fantastic. So can I walk into the school in Jabavu, or do I only have to go online for me to register? And what are the details once again?
All right. For adults, they will need to go to our Matric Works .co.za website, and then they can register there, then get started with the process.
All right.
Certainly.
If it's someone that doesn't have I want to call you, don't you have a line that I can call so I can get more information on how to log on and get assistance?
Okay. Yes, you can hold of us on our landline 011-209-0900. Or they can get hold of me on my cell, which is 073-045-6230.
All right. Wow, fantastic, Tebogo. Thank you so much for joining us.
It's a pleasure.
You keep doing the great work. I'm not educated, I cannot get employment. So there is still a chance, yeah?
There is no excuse anymore.
Absolutely. No excuse indeed. Thank you so much for joining us.
It's a pleasure.
All right. Sales Executive at Media Works, Tebogo Mogapi. A big thank you also to my guest that came in earlier, Justin Mabunga, founder of Egas Educational Initiative, as well as Andile Ndaba, one of the top students in the year 2016. That's the academic year 2016 that came through on the show, as well as Tembisile that came in, who is a facilitator at one of the Move centers right here in Soweto. It shows, Jorge, there is an opportunity for you out there. Emma falling for thing and really seek help. There is a chance for you to really further your education. That's how we come to the end of tonight's episode of Soweto Today. We always keep you informed with what's happening around Soweto and the rest of the country. From myself, Rifilo Hamutse, and the rest of the team, it's a good night, and don't forget to stay on Soweto TV.